together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let them all pass their dirty remarks. One love, there is one question really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind to save his own belief? Hear you now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Get you. For when the man comes, there's gonna be no doom. Have pity on those chances grow thinner. No hiding place from the Father of creation. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Acapella. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel all right. Yo, good morning.
Good. Take your mic.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Gene Langell, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. At this time, please check your electronic devices, find the off button, and activate it. Thank you. Reverend Carroll announced last week that several of us are working on the Ernest Holmes project. And so I wanted to share a little poem that he had written I think is appropriate for us this morning. It's called, What Makes Us Friends? What makes us friends, just you and I, along a road that's low and high? What makes us always stick together in sunshine and in stormy weather? We're friends because you always find the good in me. You're always kind. You've been a friend through every need, and this, my friend, is a friend indeed. So may it be through all the years of joy and pain, of song and tears, a friendship that will ever last throughout the future as the past, and be more precious and more dear from day to day, from year to year. I pray that God will keep it so as still along life's way we go. In my research, I've found that Ernest is really a neat guy. And he always introduced himself by saying, "Hi, I'm Ernest." So now it's your turn to greet your friend by saying, "Hi, I'm..." And again, good morning. And I don't need to call your attention to it because the attention is already here with our house band and Bodie.
All right, we have a new chant today. And you'll figure out why later. But anyway, this is the chant I wrote in Hawaii in 1986 when I was working on a dream vision quest. And this song came through. I am courage, I am courage, I am purified forever. I am courage, I am courage, I am purified forever. I am inspiration, I am inspiration, I am courage, I am. Got it. I am courage, I am courage, I am purified forever. I am courage, I am courage, I am purified forever. I am inspiration, I am inspiration, I am courage, I am. One more time. I am courage, I am cool. Feel it inside. I am purified forever. I am courage, I am courage, I am purified forever. I am inspiration, I am inspiration, I am courage, I am, 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 I am.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Sarah Hargrave, staff minister at this beloved community. Let's see. I just want to say Reverend Carol is at the integration meeting, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a historic meeting where the two branches of this philosophy are reuniting. And what happened is in 1954, they had a disagreement about how the organization should be run, although they continued to agree on the philosophy and the teachings of Ernest Holmes. And now they've come back together. So it's a huge, wonderful event. She's in New Orleans. And so that there's been much hard work and energy going into that. Normally this is a prayer time, and I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to read from the Creative Thought magazine, and if you haven't ever read it, it's fabulous. And I'm going to read February 14. There's a quote from Andrew Roos. Infinite life pours from the essence of a rose where galaxies upon galaxies emerge. This simple beauty sends forth a wave of love with a smile of peace. Infinite intelligence as love is everywhere at once. The essence of God is love. It is all there is in the universe. Divine presence flows in and through me. I am its oneness. In the beauty of the moment, I focus only on love, realizing it surrounds me and moves through me, just as it expresses in all life. I immersed my body, my being, my spirit in truth as I relax into this knowing. I recognize that infinite intelligence manifests with perfection in my experience as I let go of any blocks. All my relationships unfold in love and peace and harmony. I allow prosperity to circulate abundantly in my life with ease and grace. Every cell in my body is in perfect balance, and I experience perfect health. My beautiful unity with life keeps me in gratitude, and I am joyful, happy, and free. I am thankful for and am blessed. In pure bliss, I release my word to the law, knowing all is well, and so it is. And now we have Bodhi, who is our music director, and our wonderful house band, which we have only on rare opportunities together. We always have great music, but we're always especially blessed to have the house band.
Good morning. This is kind of a Valentine's present to be here today with these guys. We have Joe Munch on guitar, Matthew Berg on drums, real hero, just recovered from something that was amazing, got hit yesterday. We thought he wasn't going to be here. We're blessed that he showed up. And Rick Walt on the bass. I'm going to do a song by Brian Dorkson, who's a Christian singer. Just has some amazing songs, and just thought this song really felt like today because we had the band, so we could have fun with it. One, two, three. And I have felt the wind blow, whispering your name. And I have seen the tears fall when I watch the rain. And how could I say there is no God when all around creation calls a singing bird, a mighty tree, vast expanse of open sea. Gazing at a bird in flight, soaring through the air, lying down beneath the stars, feel your presence there. I love to stand at ocean shore and feel the thundering breakers roar, and walk through golden fields of grain, neath endless blue horizons frame. listening to a river run, watering the earth, fragrance of a rose in bloom, newborns cry at birth. How could I say there is no God when all around creation calls? A singing bird, a mighty tree, the vast expanse of open sea. I love to stand at ocean's shore, feel the thunder breakers roar, to walk through golden fields of grain, with endless blue horizons rain. I believe, and I believe, and I believe. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello? Now I am. Okay, great. Well, I wanted to make sure that I welcomed everyone here. Those of you who are here for the first time, those of you who are back for after a long time, and those of you who are here all the time. We're grateful for all of you, and your presence is a gift to us. So there are lots and lots of things going on. First of all, there's children. We want to bless the children as they go off to their lessons and to teach their teachers. So wave goodbye from your heart to the children as they go off. Up. We want to affirm and be grateful for world peace and for love, and love, including love for yourself. So all the love that is in the world. We have lots of activities going on in the community. Prosperity Plus, which is a popular class. How many of you have already taken it from Reverend Carol? I know there are a number of you who have. She's beginning another class on February 23rd. It's only $57 for the materials. It's a fabulous class, I understand. Many practitioners have signed up for it, so I know it's going to be a powerful class. You have an opportunity to sponsor an aspect of the service every Sunday. So in the bulletin, there will be an opportunity for you to sponsor coffee or things for the youth, or promote a business or a profession that you have. That's an opportunity to do. There's sign-up sheets that you can ask for that. Soon, on the 19th, Annie Rohrbach, who has been a member of our community for a long time and is an organizer, was a practitioner and is a practitioner, is having a book signing and launching her book, which is Conscious Order, Clear Your Mind, Leave the Clutter Behind. She is a professional organizer. She's going to have a workshop next Sunday, a very interactive workshop, so that you'll have an opportunity to discover how you can use the power of your mind to get organized and stay organized. Then there's a Practicing Your Presence evening that is going to be starting with the practitioners. They will be doing, each person will have one evening and doing something different for practicing the present. So that's a wonderful every Wednesday of the month. So that's a change in the format. And also there's a class that Marilyn Letzos is doing, which is Change, Growing Through the Transitions of Life. She wants to, it's a 6-week class, I think it's 6 weeks. Yes, 6 weeks. Starts March 5th. It's 6:30 to 9:30, and it helps you reap the benefits of change and manifest the change that you want in your life. You can read more in the bulletin because there's much, much more always going on. We have the altar today. Galia was scheduled to do it and was not feeling well, and Sean Haven stepped in and went by Galia's, and she said, I'm channeling Galia, because she went and got all the stuff from Galia and brought it and is fixing it for us. And so the theme is love and beauty. And if you'll notice, there's some cards on the altar, and those are Valentine's cards that you can get from the bookstore, along with the Creative Mind book or anything else you want to support your spiritual life and also to remember your love for yourself. So, let's see. I think this is time now to introduce our wonderful founding minister. We are so blessed to have him with us, Reverend Dr. Lloyd Tupper. He's the founding minister of this community and our beloved speaker for this morning, and words would not be enough, so I'll just say, come on up.
A little carefully. No cane today. Yeah. For those of you who don't know about my cane, I had my left knee totally replaced 5.5 weeks ago. And so, according to my physical therapist, Andy, the savior of my knee, I'm 5.5 weeks out from my surgery, and he says I'm the equivalent of 10. So I'm feeling pretty good. But I never feel as good as when I'm standing before all of you. It's so good to see you. To say that I miss you and that I long to be with you more is an understatement. It nurtures my spirit, my heart, because we've been together for so long. You know, most of you know we started this community back in 1983 in San Francisco at the Masonic Auditorium. I started it with myself and 2 powerful women. There's always 2 powerful women around me, I'll tell you. It seems like I can't tie my shoes today without a powerful woman to tell me. And I've got one, believe me. But it's been a long time. And I'm supposedly retired from the ministry per se, but I'm not. And one person asked me this morning, this is the week, that they're electing the officials for the new organization. And one of the positions was of the church leader for the entire organization, of which I was being asked to run. And I think I announced that I might do it several months ago, and I wanted to tell you myself that I chose not to do it. And the reason that I chose not to do it primarily is I read the job description. Need I say more? But even more importantly to me is that I had always thought, as I was maturing, biologically speaking, because we all know we're immortal incarnations of the one Spirit, but physiologically, as I was maturing, I thought the last third of my years on this earthly planet would be devoted to pastoral counseling, to be counseling to ministers, practitioners, and to lay people that just wanted to come and sit with me, or I sit with them, and to do some really deep and meaningful work. And so I can honestly say for once in my life, I stuck with my dream. And I said, I'm not going to be sitting in airplanes or in hotels all over the world, because it involved travel all over the world, this job. Even though I think it would be very exciting, and I think I could have done a good job, but I'll do a much better job if I'm here amongst the people that I love and who love me. And this is a period in life when you need to be loved. When you have like major surgery like I've just had, it's a time when you just have to feel, my life has meaning, my life has purpose, and I have to have the courage. I'm tying into my talk now. I have to have, hi Frank, you're late. That's a reward for you telling me I look like I was getting round last week. Anyhow, you have to have the courage to love our kind of God. And by that, I'm going to define that, because you are the manifestation of God in form. And for me, or any person, to ask you, in however I might communicate that, to love me as I am, not as you think I should be, or love me for what I do and not what I don't do, or love me for the mistakes, so-called, even though Ernest says we don't make mistakes, but he covers himself later. He does say we do them, but we don't acknowledge them. Because if we acknowledge them, then the likelihood is we'll make more. Doesn't that sound like Ernest? Yeah. So, but to love our, and I put the word "our" God in the sermon title, takes courage. It takes courage, because when a lot of us were biologically younger, if we were, Jewish, or if we were, most of us probably were Christian, but there's a lot of Jewish people who are part of our movement, and other ethnic religious orders. They usually had some identification with God that was more clear or more identifiable than what we do in our particular approach to what God is, what God does, and how we can coordinate with God to bring forth the will of God through the principle of not just evolution, which brought you here and brought me here, and we had very little to do with it, but the most important thing, I'm starting to get going now, is involution. Involution. Because you see, we didn't have to do too much. Most of us are survivors of the old-time religion. Sin, salvation, damnation, worms of the dust, heathens, cults, you name it, we've been identified with it. But what we really had to have the courage to do was to be willing to accept the fact that I, Lloyd Tupper, or you by whatever name you are called, are an essential component to this thing we call God, so that the fulfillment of God's desire to be unconditionally giving through love, through wisdom, through compassion, through protection, through guidance, and through the very immortal principle itself may be fulfilled. And that takes courage to say, that's why I am. And I'm not using I am lightly. For if there's anything we did learn from the Old Testament while waiting for that burning bush that Moses got, was when Moses said to God on the mountain, getting the 10 Commandments, "Whom shall I say has sent me?" God responded to Moses purportedly, "Tell them that I am sent you." And from that point forward, the name of God, which you could never really say in the Judeo faith, was like you don't say that name. But what the name of God was, I am. And then, of course, when we came along in the newer thought, it was that we would be taught to say, beware of saying anything with the invocation of God's name first, and then, I am sick, I am weak, I am lonely, I am desperate, I am confused, I am this, I am that, I'm whatever, I'm old, I have one new knee and one knee that's very jealous. But I've already told it, don't get any ideas, because we're not going to run up this scale again. But we're told to beware of what we say. I am. So now, when we say prayerfully and we think it through, I love this one. I hope this will be meaningful for you. I was in a hotel once, and this happens to me when I've traveled. I don't travel like I used to. I used to travel all over the world for Rothschilds. But I was in a hotel in some godforsaken country, in some godforsaken place, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought I needed a dose of Ernest Holmes. And I was feeling like my prayers weren't being answered. And so I had to have courage to find out, well, why is it that God should love me and doesn't seem to love me? And in this piece of paper, it came from the hotel, and you know what I wrote down? Here it is. This took courage for Ernest to write. I myself am the answer to my own prayer. That takes courage. That's what I mean. It's a simple thing that we do, but it takes courage to be able to say, the answer to my prayer, as it does in this textbook, is in the prayer. That we take the evolution of that which is given as the intelligent principle of life itself, whether you're one form of life, whether you're a vegetable or an animal or a mineral or a human or a spiritual being, which we like to think of ourselves having a human experience. It takes a lot of courage to say, I, Lloyd Tupper, or you by whatever your name is in humanity, personality, I am the manifestation of the evolution of the spirit of life itself, and that although I appear in the form of humanity, I am the immortal principle that is God. That takes courage. And I'll tell you why it takes courage. Because it sounds too good to be true. And if you go out and you just talk to somebody you meet casually at Pete's or some other, place where someone might look over, like often happens, or did. That doesn't happen to me that much more anymore, but it used to a lot. People say, well, what are you reading? What are you reading? Stewardesses used to do that on PSA Airlines. Now, that ought to date it, shouldn't it, for some of us? And I tell you, if I were on the make, I could have married 25 PSA students. Because I shouldn't say that, but I do. Anyhow, They'd come and sit on the arm, you know. I'd sit on an aisle, and I'd sit on the arm, and I was still in school in L.A. at the time. And, you know, I was young and excited about my practitioner training and my ministry that was going before me. And they'd say, "What are you reading?" And I would say something like, "I'm reading about my immortality." I always thought that would stop it, you know, that would be enough. But then they'd want to talk about it. Well, how can you say that? And you know what? It took courage for me to say, well, let's look at the way life unfolded. Let's look at the various phases of what we call the spiritual kingdoms. The mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, and then the spiritual kingdom. But you see, most people think in order to be able to talk about or live in and experience the spiritual kingdom, what do you got to do first? You got to die. But how does an immortal being die? That's why it's so frustrating. You see, there's nothing worse than a frustrated metaphysician. Now, I stand before you, and I know that this body doesn't seemingly keep up with my spirit, so the chances are that this body probably will return to the elements of this earth when my spirit is ready to reclothe itself in the next higher dimension so that I can continue the work that I was created to do and fulfill my destiny. So the courage that I have to have is that the purpose of my life, regardless of what might be going on with my body or what might not be happening in my relationships or what might not be happening in my fulfillment of my dreams, like that I would be living in a certain way, I'd be living in a certain kind of relationship, I'd be living in a certain kind of home, I'd be living in a certain amount of opulence. A lot of those things don't always come to pass as we thought. But there are a few things that always come to pass. Always come to pass. And it's those things, those willingness, that willingness to stand before a crowd of spiritual geniuses like you, who all know the truth. You can't fool me. I know who you are. And you know who I am. We haunt each other because we tell the truth. And that does take courage to tell the truth. And I said to someone the other day, a woman that's very active in our movement, her name is Alexandra Koch. She has a very successful financial advisory service, an investment service here. Janet works with her quite a bit. And I remember she was the president of our church 2 or 3 times during the course of the 45 years or so I've been associated with the church. And I had to ask her a question, and it was a very, very difficult, delicate question concerning a great deal of money. I don't know if any of you have any importance on money, but it concerned a great deal of money. Good morning, Deborah. It's not been the same without you. So there she is, talking about money, an embodiment of beauty and money. I usually see her at the Bay Club, and all the other guys see her too. I have to fight to get next to her. But anyhow, that's going to cost you later. But I said to her, well, what do you think? What do you think the result of this situation will be? Because I'm invested in some properties that other people are involved in. She said, I think you're going to have to put it into bankruptcy. And I said, I don't want to hear that. And she said, but you taught me to tell you the truth. And once I got the truth, just give me the truth, I know I can handle it. I know I can handle it. The truth will set us free. But it takes courage to always hear the truth and accept the truth and to strive to live the truth. So I want you today, as I have not looked at any of my notes except for this little piece of paper, which I had from the back of my book, my traveling book, I just want you to hear something that I love to tell people that I'm counseling to read about the subject matter we're talking about. And it goes something like this. It is not enough to say there is one life and that life is God. We must complete this statement by saying that life is my life now, your life, and my life. Because we must couple this life with ours in order to express it. Boy, that's a mouthful. I'm going to read that to you again. It is not enough to say there is one life, and that life is God. We must complete this statement by saying, that life is my life now, because we must couple this life with ours in order to express it. We are not becoming this life. Here it is, Jane. We were talking about this last week. We are not becoming this life, but are now in and of this life. There is no other life. God is not becoming God. God is. Oh, I get chills when I read that. God is not growing. God is complete. God is not trying to find out something. God already knows. Evolution is not the expression of a becoming God, but is simply one of the ways that a God who already is expresses itself. And as such, it is the logical result of involution. There's that word I talked to you about. And is eternally going on. And it's eternally going on because of us. We are involved, involution. We involve ourselves in the creative process. We're not the vegetable kingdom that's just passive and receives the energy of life. We involve ourselves in this thing called life. And for the man or woman who believes, say that business is bad, for the one who thinks they have made many mistakes and will make more, for the man or woman who sees nothing but inactivity about them, the following meditation might be used. I hope I'm not boring you with this, but I want you to hear it, because it saved my, you know what, which Frank thinks is getting a little round. I'm sorry, Frank. You pushed a sensitive button. Here we go. I know I am at the threshold of all good wisdom and truth. All the good I can embody is now mine. I have only to open the portals of my soul and accept that which is ready to express through me. I expect fully and emphatically the answer to my prayer today. Right now do I possess this thing I so greatly desire. I remove my fear of lack and negation, for it is the only barrier which stands in the way of my experience of good. I alone can remove it, and I do remove it. Hear that. I alone can remove it, and I do remove it now. In this moment, to quote Ernest Holmes, in this moment of privilege, my good comes to me enough and to spare, to give and to share. I can never be exhausted. My good can never be depleted, because that source from which my good comes is inexhaustible. And it closes. Today, in this moment, the law responds to my thought. My word is one of affirmation, rising from the knowledge that the good, the enduring, and the true are eternalities in my experience. I cannot be apart from that which is my good. My good is assured me by God, the indwelling essence of my life. I wrote, first read in Los Angeles in September 1969. In parentheses, what keeps the portals of our soul closed is a belief in mortality. Not immortality, but in mortality. So when we declare that we're immortal incarnations of the one infinite life, when we declare, as Emerson said in his opening of history, that we are the inlets to all that is divine, and that we can choose to be the outlets. We have to have courage. We have to stand on the principles that we believe, that we espouse. That I am, and you are, the embodiment of that life divine. And that to the extent that I am conscious, and there are many millions of people who are unconscious to this truth, but there is hope for them because we are. But to the extent that we open the portals even larger to our mind, and this creative principle infuses the divine direction, protection, expansion, inspiration, love, healing, the whispering that thou art the beloved of mine, in whom I am well pleased, and it resonates through our body temple and our spirit, and then it goes out like that Cassini spacecraft that they sent 2.5 billion years of light years over to Saturn. To the way it goes out, it just forces into the consciousness of all of life the truth that sets us free, and the world free, and everyone free. So when you pray, don't squeak out a prayer. If you need to pray that prayer I gave you, it's right on 293. Make it yours. And then just realize that you are a courageous people. I'm a courageous person today because I'm standing here being Skyped, God knows where in this universe. And I am sure there are people who are saying this guy is certifiably ready for the nut house. But you know what? I've met a lot of people that were what we would call just a little bit, off kilter. They're the most fun. They're the most fun. They're the most fun. Do I have 3 minutes? I'm going to tell you a story on myself. I like to laugh. I like to end with a little humor, and because you're my family, and I always want you to know how incredibly stupid and foolish and I don't know I can be. But anyhow, I'll keep these notes for posterity. By the way, if somebody wants to auction them off, I've never used them. When I moved to Marin County in 1967, I drove by Marin General Hospital, and I saw it sitting up on the hill, and I'd never had to go to a hospital. I think I had my tonsils out. My mother must have gone to the hospital to have some participation in my birth here. But I said, if I ever have to go to a hospital, that's the one I'm going to go to. Be careful what you ask for. And I want to be able to look out on Mount Tam and just, ascend. If that's the time for me to go, I want to ascend right up on Mount Tam. Nothing, pretentious, but on top of Mount Tam. So they were giving me these drugs for my knee, this is the day after my surgery, and the nurses kept coming in and saying, "How's your pain? How's your pain?" On 1 to 10, they'd say, "How's your pain?" And I'd say, half. Half of what? Well, half of 1. Or maybe a 1. Well, then push that jigger. Because the thing is, you want to keep ahead of the pain. And that way you won't have any pain. But if you don't push the jigger that puts the opiate or morphine into your system, then you'll get the pain. Then we have to catch up with the pain. Well, I think I pushed the jigger a little too much. I'd only tell you folks this because if you ever tell anybody I said it, I'll say you're a darn liar. Anyhow, so about 2 o'clock, I woke up. Now, there was a spiritual message in this. And Francine, one of our practitioners, told me what it was. And I woke up and I looked around and the whole hospital was on fire. Fire was dropping off the ceilings. It was in the bathroom. Fortunately, the bed next door to me didn't have anyone in it, so there was fire dropping on the bed. And there was some fire dropping on my bed. And so I thought, well, now, I think this is the revelations in the lake of fire, and I probably better figure out how I'm going to get out of here because this isn't going to work too much longer. So I pull all the things out of my arm. I know that was a little not right way to do it. And I hadn't used a walker yet, and I got up. Now, this is the part I shouldn't be telling you, but I'm going to be honest with you. My Johnny seemed to have fallen off somewhere. I don't know what that is. That's my nightshirt, by the way. Not part of my physical anatomy. Anyhow, my thing fell off. Oh, God, Lloyd, you're getting deeper. You got to finish this. And so I'm wandering around my room. I go in the bathroom, and I look outside, and I see these pods of fire on Mount Tam and everything, and I think, oh, my God, it is the lake of fire. The world has been bombed or an earthquake or something. So finally I see the 2 doors that go out to the Corte, which were closed. So I go to the 2 doors, totally oblivious of my beautiful expression of my natural self. And I say, hello. I mean, I'm really using courage now. And I open the door, and these 2 nurses said, hello. And they came rushing up, and they said, what are you doing, Reverend Tupper? I said, well, the hospital's on fire, my room is on fire, my bathroom's on fire, Mount Tamalpais is on fire, and I thought I'd better help you. What can I do? So anyhow, they said, well, you're an interesting person. I think we should just give you a little something that's going to make you go to sleep. So anyhow, they were very dear, and they took care of me and put me back in bed, and everything was fine. But Francine, God love her, she said to me when I told her the story, she said, did you notice, however, that the fire was falling on everything and everyone, except it never fell on you? And that was a great spiritual message to me. That even in the midst of what seems like a calamity, if we hold ourselves in courage and accept the unconditional love of God, which is always with us, we will be the beloved all the days of our life. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Yeah. I get.
Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti